Speak with your classmate.
Have you need of me?
You know what sort of life His Highness led when he lived in Ferdiad before coming to the academy? Well, I'll tell you. Under the pretext of guarding him, the Grand Duke provided an escort who watched his every move at all times, despite having committed no crime. He was basically put under house arrest. Writers even read his letters. Can you imagine? Sadly, we minor knights of all the fringes could do little for him. But this time, I'm going to help. That's why I fled the capital and came running here. I didn't need all that exposition. I read through it really quickly.
What's going on?
There are rumors floating around regarding the Grand Duke of Itha. Perhaps you've heard of them? No. People claim he had the previous king assassinated and that he was involved in the tragedy of Dusker. Oh, good. Sounds like a great guy. And while most rumors are not but wind, something about them seems strangely credible. There have been whisperings about discord between the Grand Duke and the late king, not to mention the man's relationship with Highness. If the Grand Duke is who I think it is, he's a slimy bastard. We don't like him in this household.
Hey, you.
Isn't here? No, I thought for sure she'd show up for a fight in the kingdom. Who isn't here? Why, Thunder Catherine, of course. She's the swordswoman who wields one of the heroes' relic. She's the most powerful of all the knights, and I thought this would be a good chance to go head to head with her and see who can bury the most enemies. But hey, if she's not here, she's not here. I'll have to beat our foes twice as hard. Great, bud. I imagine we'll meet her later. There's a business meeting coming up in Ferdiad, but that's been cancelled. It's hardly the time for that now. I'm sure you remember when the king went to meet with the leaders of Dusker, yes? Well, they were beset by attackers from Dusker on the way there. All were killed, only the young prince made it. Someone marshaled an army and sent soldiers to raise Dusker immediately. In the meantime, Ferdiad is all in chaos without a king. Dusker really made a mistake here. They're all going to be punished for the actions of a few extremists. Still, considering what they did, maybe they deserve it. I suppose that means we can no longer trade with Dusker. Shame. There's gold to be mined near Gwenhwar. What is that word? Gwenhwar. Gwenhwyvar. I think that's correct. And their blacksmiths are exceptional. No matter what, don't do anything until I return. Okay. I loathe the Grand Duke. He tried to harm His Highness on countless occasions. His Highness's first campaign was suppressing the rebellion in the west. That too was a plot of the Grand Duke. Only because of House Fraldarius did His Highness emerge unscathed. Assassination attempts continued unceasingly in the palace afterward as well. And given what happened with King Lambert at Dusker, Highness must be aware of the man's ill intent. Or he's just stupid. I'm gonna put that out here, Dimitri. Not Dimitri. Dimitri might just be stupid. Having played the previous game, I'm pretty sure he's just stupid. The knight can't be Gustav, can he? True, he claims his name to be Gilbert, and yet... I never would have believed that man who abandoned his country would return at this late hour.
Hello. This way.
I am Gilbert, charged with commanding the Knights of Ceres in the coming battle. Should the need arise, I hope you will rely on me with punctuations. I hope you will rely on me. I will not permit any harm to come to the students of the Officers Academy. The fact that you were specifically dispatched here must mean you have some connection to the kingdom. Maybe even the royal capital? Indeed, but only slightly more than the other knights. However, that does not mean every one of the Blue Lions will be joining us.
Let's see.
Yeah, I guess Annette must have had some reason for not coming along, huh? I wonder what the reason is. It's one of those if you know things. I suppose so, yes. You suppose so, do you, Gilbert? He knows. He knows exactly why.
I don't think so.
Well,
Are you sure this is okay, Ash? Lord Lenato was once a servant of the Grand Duke, after all. Yes, when he learned of the circumstances, he told me to hold on to what I believed was just.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alright, I'm still getting used to all this nobility stuff. Who's Lord Lenato? Lenato is the head of House Gaspard and also my adoptive
Let's
father.
give it a go.
Which is exactly why I'm going to do what I believe in. Ingrid, don't worry. Maybe you really are suited to be a knight, Ash. Hang on. How are you so short? What are they feeding you?
got a minute?
After the death of the previous king, most of the royal knights were apparently taken under the command of Rufus, Grand Duke of Iffa. Some portion escaped the capital and rejoined with us here, but not all. Ooh. There are evidently still some in Ferdiad who are resisting, and I want nothing more than to help them. Okay, but the assumption, right, is that this is a fully... This is a knight. This is like a fully grown adult woman. How are you shorter than Shez?
Oh, that's right.
Now that I think about it, I heard something when we were leaving Garrick Mark. Evidently, Professor Eric was set up for the Imperial capital along with the Black Eagle. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And if I'm not mistaken, most of the Knights of Ceres had some sort of business which kept them from joining us in this mission. I'm certain it's not Academy related, but I wonder what Annie did, or what Annie and the others are doing. Probably something nefarious.
Do you have a spare moment?
As a member of House Brennus, the present situation is one I simply cannot leave be. To begin with, His Highness Dimitri's ascension to the throne was duly agreed upon and acknowledged by the Archbishop herself. After the death of His Majesty, my house and the other lords made preparations with that intent. If the Grand Duke would now attempt to overthrow that agreement, I won't let it stand. It's definitely a woman's voice. Oh, God.
Got a second?
Hey, cheer up, Felix. Your dad's getting worried. You know how unpleasant it feels to have people make weird claims about your family. Don't act as if you have it all figured out. That sort of thing would never bother me.
Meh.
If it's not that... If that's not what's bothering you, why do you look like you got punched in the gut? There's a certain someone's indecision is making me sick to my stomach.
Not good.
Look, if you're that concerned about His Highness, you should just say something to him. Why should the job of cheering him up fall to me? I do love Felix, though. He's great.
So listen.
Rufus has always been a sharp one. I tell you what. None could ever match him when it came to political acumen. But when everyone recognized his talents, he had no press. So the throne ended up going to his younger brother, Lambert. Lambert was the polar opposite of his brother in nature and temperament, though he possessed a natural genius in matters of tactics. Can't help but wonder what would have been if the pair of them could have worked together to govern the kingdom.
Yes?
No.
Nice day we're having.
Lovely day. Well now, are you a student at the Officers' Academy? I am Rodrigue Achille Fraldarian. The very man at the center of the maelstrom we find ourselves in. You have my apologies for getting you involved in this recent dispute. Are you Felix's dad?
So basically,
Oh, you must be Felix's dad. Indeed, and I hear you've been quite the boon to my son. Yeah, we beat each other up all the time. It's great.
Would it bother you?
Military strength will be essential if we are to take the royal capital, so I would ask your aid in the matter, if at all possible. Man.
What are your thoughts?
Did you know there's a whole town under Garrick Mach? A bunch of suspicious characters live there. Yes, they're the rats. They call it Abyss. I wonder what those folks are really like. Clerks leave them alone though, so they must not have been involved in that business with Lamont. They weren't. To be honest, I'm a little afraid of His Highness. I mean, he's definitely a good person, don't get me wrong or anything. He's usually got a somber look on his face, but his instructions to his troops are always clear. But still, that face. Wow, man, that's so rude. I've got no idea what's going on in his head. Be sad? Be calm? It's impossible to tell. I was born with the... and he was born with that inhuman strength of his, right? What makes him hard to approach? What if I make him mad? See. Wow, he's tall too. It's a good thing Dimitri has anxiety about everything, huh? Bro. Try to cheer him up, I guess. Don't look so glum, Dimitri. Everyone fights with their family at some point in their life. Well, wit like a rapier. Perhaps I'd do well to pick up on a bit of that cheer. I had a massive... oh, a missive. I had a missive sent to my uncle, but I wager I'll not receive a
I
reply.
implore you.
Please, continue with preparations so we can set out immediately if the fighting starts.
Greetings.
I see you have spoken with everyone.
You have my thanks.
Consideration is much appreciated. We shall depart the moment everything is ready. Please be sure to rest until then. Ah.
The Duke has stamped out most of the troops who invaded Fraldarius. As things stand, a clash on royal soil and eventually within the capital is inevitable. As you are the only blood kin I have, my lord, I pray we might find a way to resolve this conflict peacefully. Bah, what rubbish. He sings of conciliation, but I know a threat when I read it.
Shouldn't
Wow.
you take better care of a letter from your dear nephew, my lord?
Shut up, Cornelia. You don't give a shit.
He's not expecting a reply. The creature means to slay me.
Your fear of Prince Dimitri runs deeper than I thought. You shouldn't have missed your chance 4 years ago in Dusker, or 2 years ago during the suppression of the rebellion. That's twice you failed to kill him.
I've learned my lesson. A lion's cub is still a lion, and one cannot slay a lion with a clumsy scheme. It's those monstrous eyes, Cornelia. They terrify me. The boy is a vicious animal, yet he attempts to feign actual grief that we can't find common ground. The aberrance of it shakes me to my core.
I understand completely.
Every night since I killed my brother, I dream a lion is ripping out my throat.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
You'll run yourself ragged if you live your days in fear of revenge. You were meant to rule Fargus, and you have the power to make it so. Your royal army is the finest in the realm, and if I may be so bold, you also have me.
Hate this lady.
Put your worries to rest, my king. Sleep deeply and without fear.
I'm so utterly tired. Tired of being afraid. Tired of what I've become. All of it.
Take a rest, old man.
I see. And how much longer until Talus gives the word?
Look at her face in like not on her model, but like down in the box down there. Look at that face. Ridiculous.
I know only that something is amiss in the Imperial capital.
Curse it all! I am not waiting 1,000 years for that doddering old fool to act. Rally the Western Lords and their troops, and be quick about it. Have them make ready to intercept that whelp.
As you command, Cleobulus.
That's your name? That's not the name you told us. He said
According to our
1,000 years,
scouts,
like she
the
can just,
enemy has positioned their troops on the capital streets.
like she can just wait 1,000 years. I wonder how old she is.
So they can use the townsfolk as shields when we take the fight to them. With vulgar tactics.
Well, now that we know their strategy, our next move will be critical. A victory stained with the people's blood achieves nothing. We'll need to move our forces swiftly, but with caution. Dedu, has there been a reply from my uncle?
Nothing of yet.
I thought not.
Your Highness, will you truly be able to strike Rufus down when the time comes?
I will do what is required of me.
Preparations are complete, Your Highness. The people are waiting for you, Dimitri. Let's not keep them any longer.
No, we'd best not.
You're our commander, but you look like you're heading for a funeral. Could you maybe try not being so insufferable?
Apologies for my demeanor. I've more than a few things on my mind. But very well. Let's begin our final war, Council.
You look pale. Not keen on fighting your own blood?
Sadly, I saw this fight coming long ago.
Then what's the problem?
Now that I've brought the fight to the streets of the capital, I wonder if my actions are right. Most of the people here favor keeping the royal line of succession. That's because my father and the kings before him maintained peace inside these walls. But ever since my uncle seized power, the people have been forced to endure his licentious reign. Did you know they asked me to assume the throne before my time at the academy? They said only a true king could undo Rufus's misrule.
So why didn't you?
Because it would have divided the kingdom, just as it's doing now. Yet had I supported my uncle's claim, it would have been open rebellion. And the only way to prevent such a rebellion is to invade the capital and kill the regent. In other words, I cannot restore my grandfather's peace without first breaking it.
In that case, there's no reason to hesitate. You know fighting is the only answer here. You just have to accept it.
Listen to me, I am the devil on your shoulder.
My apologies. I have a bad habit of agonizing over such things. And as all of you have come this far to help me, the least I can do is make an attempt at optimism.